As we journey through life, sometimes we accumulate wounds, misunderstandings, things that we just can't move on. A lot of times we are thinking of things that happened years ago and it's still bothering us. How do you move on from those things without the daunting task of confronting people who have done and said stuff that they shouldn't have? Today we're going to dive into what mirror work is and how it can help you create so much freedom in your life. Let's do it. Before we move on to telling you what mirror work is, let me ask you this. If you had a sliver in your hand that was causing you a great deal of pain, even if you put the best Band-Aid on there with Neosporin and kept it clean and dry and all the things, it would not heal. It would continue to fester and hurt and irritate. In our past, things happen, and it's much like a sliver. It irritates and festers and gets worse with time. In order to move on, we have to pull that thing out, right? Are you with me? The best Band-Aid cures don't fix it. What I'm going to teach you today is something that you can do to remove those things that are irritating you by yourself. If you're not able to seek outside help and you're not able to confront the thing that happened poorly in the past, you can do it all by yourself. Mirror work is one of the easiest tools that I have, and it can bring the most profound results. In it, you take a mirror, I prefer a hand mirror, but whatever you got, and you look in your eyes. You need a particular situation that you're going to work through, or a person that you need to forgive. The nice thing about this is that person doesn't need to even still be alive. You don't have to really talk to them, so you don't have to stir up their emotions. It's just you and a mirror. So it all starts with looking at yourself in your eyes and talking to yourself. I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me. You're going to look into your eyes and you're going to talk to the person that has caused the hurt. Say that's your school bully. You're gonna address them, be like, hey, George, it really hurt that you always teased me at lunch and told me I was fat and had pimples or whatever it was. Work through all your emotions. Tell about how it hurt and what the consequences were and how you feel, and you're able to express yourself fully. That feels so good. And you can talk for quite a while, and definitely put yourself in a private space that you can have that ability to have some emotions, feel safe and secure. After you're done talking about all the things you need to talk about, and it can take a minute, you will be surprised what things come to your mind that maybe you've suppressed and you didn't even remember. Then you're going to close with telling them that you forgive them. That even though they caused all this pain and suffering, that you're going to hand it over and you're not going to let it hurt you anymore. Because when we hold on to things of the past because other people have hurt us, we're just hurting ourselves. Now, in this, I do not mean in any way that you condone what other people have done to you. That's not what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that you're going to let that person hurt you again and allow them back into your life. I'm not talking about that either, because I believe in boundaries. I'm talking about you forgiving them for your own healing and to be able to move on. Now, after you work through one session with you talking to the mirror to express your emotions and your feelings, and you're able to forgive that person, you will find a sense of relief, a lightness. Certain situations might call for multiple sessions with your mirror. If there's a person in your life that was very abusive and there were several things that happened, it might be several times. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you've done it wrong if there's still a few more things that you need to go through. That is perfectly fine. It's all a process of slowly eliminating those things that you're holding on to that are hurting you, so that you can move on and become whole and complete. Now, to take it one more step, I want you to talk to your past self. There have been things that you have done or not done in your past life that still bother you. Times when you didn't stick up for yourself. time when you spoke really negatively about you or allowed abusive things happen, and you still are hurt because of it. You can talk to your past self and you can explain how it hurt you and things that are still bothering you and why it hurt you, and you can go on and on as long as you want. Then you can end with, I love you and I know that you were doing the best you could for what you had at the time, and I forgive you. And let that go. Imagine it leaving your body. You no longer have to deal with those feelings anymore. Self-forgiveness can be so healing. I know it's great to forgive other people that have hurt us, but sometimes I feel like we hurt ourselves more than anyone else in our lives. Once we can forgive ourselves, it opens up the door to being able to allow another phase of our life to start. The phase where we show up for ourselves and we write a new story for what we are going to be in the future. Now, I have found in my own work with mirror work that a lot of the times it starts out with forgiving someone else that has harmed me. Then when I'm working through that, I realize where I fell short for my own self. Then I end up forgiving myself for things that happened or that I did in that same situation. Some of those times are just not being forgiving. I forgive myself of that, of holding grudges, of damaging my own belief of myself. In those times, I find so much healing and happiness. Now, I know a lot of people, when they talk about forgiveness, they make it seem like it's for the other person. And what I want to tell you today is forgiveness is for you. Even if the other person has no idea what's going on, which they don't need to, you're forgiving them so that you can move on, so that you can become who you are meant to be. Has nothing really to do with them. And it really never has anything to condoning what they did. You're not saying what they did was okay. Absolutely not. And you're not saying that they can continue hurting you, because you're still going to set boundaries and you're still going to cut some people out of your life if need be. And you're going to stand up for yourself. Forgiveness is nothing about that. It's about letting go of that pain and allowing your wounds to heal. Now, I promise you, if you start to do mirror work, you will notice an immense change in your life. You will start to feel light, to feel free, and to finally be able to heal and move on from the hurt of the past. Because the past wasn't your fault. There's no reason to keep that thing that you're holding on to, that sliver in your hand. There's no reason to keep it. It's not hurting the other person. Probably they don't even know whether you've forgiven them or not. And most of the time they don't even care. It's all about healing you and allowing yourself to move on and to feel better, because you deserve to feel better, right? If you like the video you've watched today, please subscribe. I'm Katie Batty, and my mission as a life coach is to help you feel comfortable in your own skin and to like who you really are, because there are so many simple tools that I have and I teach all the time that can help you feel better right now.